Why you will never see Magic the Gathering ever again match up to Urza's Block. That was probably the best pinnacle of Magic the Gathering, besides in the 90s when it first came out. And in the 90s when it first came out, nobody really knew that this game was going to take off. So Black Lotus and these Moxes didn't quite have the values they do today. But the Urza Block was really the pinnacle highlight of Magic the Gathering, and it will never be duplicated. And it's kind of unfortunate because Magic has done it to themselves. If you're new, my name is Eric. I go by Sobermtg. I'm just a sober dude that shares a lot about Magic the Gathering. I do have a lot of joy for this hobby, but I also like to share a lot in the history of it and even where this hobby is going. If you like content like this, hit the like and follow button, comment down below, because we're never going to have a block like Urza's again. And here is why. I went to my card store today and I bought a set booster of Lost Ixion, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, and these are all great sets. But here's the reality of it is none of these could even match up to back then. And what Wizards did is undoable now. These sets here, for example, Magic the Gathering Ambassadors, and Collector Boosters. They didn't have Magic the Gathering Ambassadors during Lost Caverns, but they did have Collector Boosters. And Collector Boosters were really the start of it. And here is why. If you're new to Magic the Gathering, believe it or not, back during the Urza Block, we'll use like Grim Monoloth, for example, everybody had the same chances of pulling the same cards. There was no difference. You didn't have to spend more money for better cards or the coolest version of cards. In fact, it was very random ordered. Back in the day, I used to still collect and sell, and I had a card store back in the early 2000s, so you could still buy Urzas and Mercadian Mask and Nemesis, Prophecy. You weren't guaranteed foils in every single pack like you are today. I'm guaranteed 3 foils minimum in these. Now, the one thing, though, that you have to keep in mind is that there also weren't collector boosters. So a Grim Monoloth, the only versions were a foil and non-foil version. And we all had the same opportunity to pull it. And that's what made it so great. That's what made it so great. That's where Magic has lost the magic. If you want to know why you hear a lot of people like myself, we start to get more and more negative almost around Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of burnout. There's constantly new sets coming out, but it's constantly pushing FOMO and all this different product that we never once had. And the funniest part is what made Magic so successful was the creators of the game. It wasn't all these different sets. It wasn't all of universes beyond, because we have universes within, we have universes beyond. I mean, I really use these three just as kind of an example of how Magic has kind of went downhill, is the sole fact that you weren't burnt out nonstop with sets, and we all had the same chance, and that was it. That's what made it so magical. I didn't have to buy collector boosters if I wanted serialized cards. I didn't have to buy collector boosters if I wanted a gold foiled chocobo. I had the same chance as everybody else did of pulling it out of a booster pack. And that's what used to make it so magical. That's why people, and a lot of older people like myself, who've been playing for a very long time, are struggling more and more with Magic the Gathering, is because it's shifted away from being a player's game to a corporate game, to something that it wasn't ever before. And if we want to keep up with the best and coolest versions of cards, we have to pay more money for those versions instead of just having the opportunity to pull them. They never used to have secret layers. You weren't exhausted. And the funny part is, that's what got Magic to the point it is. If you think about it, I mean, these were the sets that got Magic to the point that it was. And now to answer to shareholders and everything else, you have to take it to another extreme. And now the new extreme was you started having sets like Lost Caverns, that they were having the collector boosters, and they weren't even 4 packs anymore. They ended up going up to 10 packs. They're more money. Then you started having the commander decks, which I think commander actually was a big benefit to it. They started going more extreme and pulling space into it, which I think was great. Some of these sets really did work, but again, collector boosters shifted the whole dynamic all the way until you got into something like Final Fantasy, where this is a universes beyond set. This isn't even within Magic the Gathering. Gold chocobos and the foil chocobos were only able to get them in collector packs. So I could buy all the play boosters I wanted. I'd never have a chance to pull that. Same with the surge foils. And that's what really started to make this game not magical anymore. And this is why I share. I really do struggle a lot with Magic here recently. I did get these packs to open up and have a little bit of fun. But honestly, like, I've started, and I'm probably going to end up changing the name of my channel to Sober Cards instead of Sober MTG, because I got some One Piece. I really like opening up One Piece. The quality of the cards of One Piece are solid. The game is really solid. And my daughter's got me back into Pokemon, and I love Chinese Pokemon. You know why I like Chinese Pokemon the best out of anything? I'm guaranteed hits in every single pack, and that's part of the fun. Like my dopamine's gonna hit. I'm gonna have packs in every single. I'm gonna have hits in every single pack, so that's rad. And that's where it really comes down to, when it comes to Magic, and you hear people talking about how it's kind of went downhill. I don't think the downfall of Magic really is Universes Beyond. I think it's the fact that Magic is just burning out the fan base. And it's gotten to the point that you have to continually bring in new fan base to replace us that are leaving. I will always play Magic. I will always be a Magic fan, but it's also one of those things that I'm starting to expand myself differently and find joy in other cards because I like the joy of it, and I don't want to stress. I don't want FOMO. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel like shit. I just want to have fun, and that's what it's all about. And so that's why I like other card games out there. And I'm curious. I know I'm not the only one. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Hit the like and follow button. Comment down below if I really truly feel if they went back to the original thing and they just had 36 packs, play boosters, draft boosters, that 30 box of 30, what have you, cheaper, got rid of the collector boosters. Anything that could be pulled in a collector booster could be found in a play booster. Kept it in a very solid playing field for everybody. I think you'd have a lot more demand on it. You wouldn't run into the printing issues that you would. And then if you got rid of the whole ambassador program, because let's face it, there's a problem if you need an ambassador program. Why doesn't Pokemon need one? Why does Pokemon not need an ambassador program, but Magic the Gathering does? Because it's a very good marketing ploy. And will Pokemon ever go to ambassadors? Absolutely not. They don't need to. Magic the Gathering did. Why? Ask yourself that. So, as always, I share to expand your horizons and knowledge on this game. Curious what your thoughts are. Comment down below.